Have you ever wanted to read scripture, read the Bible, but you just didn't know where to start? Or maybe you've picked up the Bible and you started reading only to get discouraged and to stop when it got a little hard to understand or maybe even a little boring. Or maybe you've been reading the Bible your whole life and you just want to understand it more. Well, whatever your reason is, I'm glad you are joining me because I want to walk us through the Old Testament and look at certain things that help us understand the one story of God. Now, I will be upfront in the fact that I'm not going to cover every part of the Old Testament. There are a lot of questions, a lot of sections of the Old Testament that people still have questions on, and I'm no different. I don't know all there is to know about the Old Testament, but I want to look at the story of God, how it unfolds throughout the Bible from cover to cover, so that way, hopefully, you and we can understand who God is and what he does in this world, and we can understand it better. But before we get started, I want to go over a few things. First, the Bible is unique. It's not like just every other book that you can pick up in a bookstore. Because it's not one that you just read once and say, I've read it now, and then put it on your shelf and forget about it. It's a book that is meant to be read over and over again, to meditate on it and to let the scriptures work in your lives, in your heart, in your mind. And as you read scripture over and over again throughout your lifetime, you gain new insights and you gain new wisdom in what it means to follow God. And so don't be discouraged the first time you read it, or even the 5th or the 10th time you read it. Keep reading it, and you'll keep seeing God reveal himself to you in new ways. Also, reading the Bible is like learning a whole new language. And if you've ever taken a foreign language class, you know that it doesn't come easy. You have to learn vocab, you have to learn grammar, you have to immerse yourself into that culture to really truly understand it. And the Bible is no different. Sure, you can pick it up and read it and you'll gain some things from it, but the more you immerse yourself into the biblical text, the more you'll start to pick up on the biblical language. And if you want to be fluent in a language, it takes a lot of time. And so if you want to understand and be able to read and interact with the Bible more, it takes time. So be patient and understand that you are stepping into a whole new world. And it's a whole new world that is a couple thousand years away from where we are today. And if we want to be good readers of the text, we have to remember that the time frame that the Bible was written in is not the same time frame that we live in today. And honestly, the time frame of the Bible spans many different cultures, many different worldviews. And so even as we go throughout the Bible, different sections will have different cultural contexts. Because the Bible, it literally spans from creation in Genesis 1 and 2 all the way through the end of time when Jesus returns in the book of Revelation. And so all of those time zones in between, whether it be the ancient Near East culture or the ancient Greek or Mesopotamian or Roman world, all of those time periods have a different culture. And so we want to make sure that we aren't reading our 21st American worldview into the biblical text. And one way to make sure that we don't do that is to simply let the Bible speak for itself. Observe what it says and let that shape how we understand our world today. Another way that we can do that and to make sure that we are good readers of the Bible is to simply read with an observing mind. Observe things about the Bible, of how the text is written, how it describes who God is and what he does, how it describes humans and whether or not they are obeying or disobeying God. So let's take that example for a second and just observe some things about the Bible. First of all, you'll see that it's pretty long. You're not just going to read this overnight. It's going to take time. But then, if you open it up to the table of contents, you will see that it's actually comprised of many smaller books comprised into one whole unit, which is called the Bible. So the Bible naturally has two main divisions, the Old Testament and the New Testament. But don't let that confuse you, because it's still one story unified from cover to cover. It's simply just a breakdown of everything that happened before Jesus, and then the New Testament starts and picks up with Jesus walking here on the earth, and then after he ascends back into heaven with the church until the book of Revelation and the end of time. So as a Christian, if we want to understand who Jesus is and what he did when he walked here on earth, then we need to understand all of the Old Testament that comes before it, to truly see how important and how incredible Jesus is. And hopefully throughout this series, you will be able to see the one story of God restoring his creation back to his goodness and his blessing for the world, and how he does that through his son Jesus.